Hey, happy Sunday evening and welcome. Silver and Black today, little Sunday live preview of our week on the show. Scott Branson, Q Myers. Q, how was the weekend, brother?
The weekend is great, man. I just wrapped up a nice little dinner. I had some fried catfish and some French fries, so I'm good to go now. Yeah,
Catfish.
man, I'm good. Yeah, I love it.
Dude, that's
love
awesome.
It. Man,
that's
you can
awesome.
get me every single time with some fried catfish.
Yeah, you get better catfish down there than you do up here. The water here, I don't know. The catfish, I think, always when you get Texas in the south part of the United States, for whatever reason, the water just the fish tastes different.
Yeah, well, Texas ain't just a hotbed for catfish either. I had to definitely go to Walk-Ons and get this one. The wife makes really good catfish, but we went to Walk-Ons, which is obviously a Louisiana spot, so they hooked it up. So yeah, it's really, really good.
Gotta love that, man. Well, we are here tonight, and we're brought to you by these videos every Sunday night by our friend sponsors, Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right. SamandAsh.com. Always get a 24/7 free consultation if you're in an accident. Hey, that can happen any time of the day or night, especially in Las Vegas. The heat is terrible, and people's fuses are short. You never know what's going to happen. So make sure you give Sam and Ash a call. 1-800-304-2000 is the number. Sam and Ash, you deserve what's right. A proud sponsor here of Silver and Black today, as well as they are on Raider Nation Radio. And Q, listen, this week, as we're coming up, and of course, we're going to get your comments and questions in here. We love our folks talking to us, and we see a lot of our old friends like Fabian and Jacob and Todd all hanging out saying hello. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Manny Flo, what's up, family? What's up, Manny? Hope you're doing good too. How's practice, Jeff? We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But this week, Q, last week it was all about the defense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now this week we're going to switch to offense. And there's a lot going on, right? We're going to go position by position. We're going to talk to some different guests about the Raiders offense, from quarterback to running back to wide receiver to tight end. We heard a lot from Darren Waller this week, obviously, as well as some other folks. We'll hear from Coach Gruden. So tomorrow's show, Monday, Q, we'll get Gruden sound. We'll get Mad Max Crosby sound after coming back from the COVID sojourn. He'll be back, and we can talk to him as well. Today we heard from Corey Littleton, and we heard from Jeff Heath, so we'll bring you that sound as well. But Q, when you look at this offense, Raider fans are really getting their hopes up. I'm starting to see a lot of folks out there, and you guys can tell us what you say in the comments here on our social channels. A lot of people now talking, it used to be top 10 offense. Now they're talking top 5 offense.
Yeah, I know. And I don't want to get, I don't want to be the guy that brings down the mood in the room or anything, but I also want to caution. And yes, there's a lot of nice new pieces that the Raiders have on offense, as well as some nice recurring pieces that are coming back from last year. So I do think that the offense can be really, really good. But when you talk about top 5, man, you got to really be careful, because there's some really stinking good offenses in the league. Kansas City, Baltimore, New Orleans. I mean, that's just 3 right there off top. So, I mean, top 5 is a good goal to have, but just be careful where you set your expectations because, again, remember, the base of this John Gruden offense is still control the clock and not, and eliminate the possessions that the opposing team could have. So it's just one of those things, man. I think it could be top 10, but top 5 may be a little bit, it might be pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do expect them to have a good year. Listen, people with the Derek Carr thing, and we're going to talk about Derek Carr on the radio show tomorrow on Raider Nation Radio 920. By the way, outside Las Vegas, you can stream it, lvsportsnetwork.com, the TuneIn app, or on the Raiders.com website or from the Raiders mobile app. Look for podcasts, and you can find the live feed there, which I think is fueled by TuneIn on the Raiders website. So you can find us anywhere you want. And we're hearing from a lot of people all over the country that you are listening to us, and we appreciate that. We appreciate you guys. Without you, we're not on the air. So, but Q, yeah, with the offense, I mean, listen, you have the pieces now, but you can have pieces, and if you don't put them together and you don't click and you don't get the rhythm going, right, then it doesn't really matter. So the hard work has to be done. We're going to learn more starting this week, right? Tomorrow, the guys put pads on. They put pads on tomorrow.
Yes, that is huge. And look, this is my thing. The other thing when it comes to, having to prove it and that I don't believe that it's a top 5 offense yet just because, we haven't seen anything, is the fact that they got 14 padded practices to get them ready for week 1. That's it.
That's it.
That's it, guys. 14 padded practices, no preseason games. Maybe they'll have a scrimmage here and there with another team, but basically the nuts and bolts of it are 14 padded practices, which is almost unknown to man. I mean, just that is not normal NFL preparation. 14 padded practices is nothing.
No, it's nothing. Listen, Michael Freeman, F controlling the clock, the ball, score touchdowns fast, strike, score, or butts off. Michael, ain't going to happen, man.
Yeah, sounds good.
It sounds good. And look, hey, everybody likes exciting offense. You're watching Pat Mahomes, right? You see it.
Right.
Okay, as much as it hurts you because it's the Chiefs, that's what he does. He scores fast. That's not what the Raiders are going to do. They're going to get more vertical. Absolutely. They can open up the playbook now. They have more opportunity to go vertical because of Ruggs and because Williams hopefully healthy. So that's great. And yes, you'll see more of it, but you have to look at the offense. It's still a ball control offense, Q.
It's still based around run the ball first. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, that's the base. And look, this is the thing about it. It's almost like a tree. You can have the trunk of the tree and the base of the tree, and then you have a bunch of different branches. Well, in John Gruden's offense, it's always based off of a strong run game. So that's going to be the first and foremost thing. Josh Jacobs is going to have to be leaned on heavily. You heard John Gruden last week say, he's got to be there start to finish. That means 16 games, not 13 games like he had his rookie year. He's got to stay healthy because he's so stinking important to this offense. As Josh Jacobs goes, everyone else goes. As he goes, then you could branch off and get busy with Darren Waller. You can get busy with Henry Ruggs. You can get busy with Lynn Bowden Jr. But it all starts on the same page it's always started off, and that's the run game with Josh Jacobs.
Longtime viewer, Hot Wheels 84. Carr needs to stop floating most of his passes. Well, listen, on tomorrow's show, you don't want to miss tomorrow's show. We are going to have Corey. Oh my, I forget his name already. Oh my gosh. Can you believe
you're
this,
bad.
Man? I know it's bad. That's what happens.
I actually think that the way he floats the ball is okay. Yeah. I think that he floats it and gives his wide receiver an opportunity to get the yards after the catch, even on deep balls.
So sorry, I had my notes and I just got finished with dinner. I just got finished dinner with 2, but we don't have a kitchen currently because we're remodeling. So my wife was cooking in an Instapot in my older son's bedroom.
Nice.
So anyway, Corey Sully tomorrow from the Daily Spiral. He does breakdowns. He's a football coach at the high school level, but he did a really great breakdown of Derek Carr, and he's going to talk to us. And actually, Hot Wheels 84, he says the way he arcs the ball is actually great. It helps the receiver see the ball better. Okay. So when he does go vertical, his ball to the receiver is actually the preferred way to do it. So there's some misconceptions there about Carr. I'm not telling you you're wrong, Hot Wheels. You have your own opinion. You're totally entitled to that. But definitely listen tomorrow because you're going to hear from Corey Q everything, the good, the bad, a balanced view of Derek Carr that says, hey, here's what he does really well. Here's where he needs to do some work. And at the end of the day, what's he being asked to do? I think tomorrow, one of the things we really want to do with that interview is explain to people, have them better understand what John Gruden's asking him to do. Before you criticize Derek Carr, know what the coach is asking in the structure, in the scheme.
Well, that's what I've been saying for the longest as well, is that it's not just a Derek Carr thing. It's a John Gruden thing. It's a Greg Olsen thing. It's the whole staff thing. I mean, they are running the game plan as the way that they see fit. Now, is there things Derek Carr could do better? Absolutely. I think everyone in Raider Nation knows what he could do better, has seen what he could do better, but it's also the guy pushing the buttons with the play calls as well. So there's a lot of responsibility that goes around. And even with these new weapons in 2020, which is another reason why I say, hey, let's temper the expectations to, top 10 offense at first. It could end up being a top 5 offense, but John Gruden's got the responsibility now of, there's weapons there, but you've got to use them. You got to use them correctly. And I made the point, after they drafted Henry Ruggs, to say, if you're gonna draft a Ferrari, don't treat it like a minivan. You know what I mean? Don't treat it like a minivan. You've got to use it like a Ferrari.
Yeah, no, that's true. Some good comments here. Sonny, I believe this is our ability to now play multiple formations. Our opponents will dictate the way we play offense. By the way, Uncle Tap 34, good day from Australia. Thank you for that.
Good day, mates.
There goes Q with the accent. As Raider fans, we feel the same way that DC feels, tired of being disrespected. Okay, great. Well, then you got to go win, baby. That's all you got to do. Yep. Who's on thinner ice, Derek Carr or Paul Guenther? And I would say Anthony, neither.
Yeah. That was
you don't want to hear that, but neither.
That was the answer I was going to come with. I don't think Paul Guenther's on a hot seat. I do think his defense has got to be better. Don't get me wrong. It's got to be better now that he has better players on the defensive side of the ball. He's got to be better. He's got a better assistant coach in Rob Marinelli, but I don't think he's on a hot seat. There's a reason why these coaches agreed to coach for the Raiders, because they were guaranteed these longer contracts, a lot longer than most coaches have on their staff. So I think that Paul Guenther will be fine. But again, with all the new guys on defense, he's going to have to show his worth. And so it'll be leaning towards him. I don't think Derek Carr is on any kind of hot seat. I think the only way that Derek Carr is not starting at some point in this season is, well, one, knock on wood, is injury. And two, is just like he just stinks it up. And I really don't see him stinking it up like that.
Right. And Corey, longtime listener and viewer as well. Hey, Corey, thanks for being with us again, buddy. Guenther has a roster where he can now be held accountable. Don't you think you can hold him accountable for what he inherited? Exactly. No, that's true. Right. But that's every coach, right? So now you have, and they've been talking about it every day when we have media availability and we talk to them. They've been talking about, look, we didn't have the right guys. Guenther this week said, we have nobody left from the starting 18 defense. Nobody. Not one starter.
What does that tell you? What does that tell you, though? 2018 wasn't that long ago, and nobody from that starting defense is still there. That lets you know that they had a whole Band-Aid project. You know what I mean? Everybody was just a guy. They weren't the guy. They were just a guy.
Yeah. Here's Charles. So tired of the narrative. Not enough of this and not enough of that. Gruden laid the groundwork the first day he came back and didn't come back to just lose. Agree, Charles. Agree, man. It takes time. See, that's the thing. As fans, and I don't blame any of the fans out there, because when I put my fan hat on, I have sports. I'm wearing my Notre Dame shirt today, which, college football. But the thing is, look, fans want things to happen quickly, especially you've been waiting over 2 decades for your team to get back to where it once was. I get that. At the same time, when you come in, and it doesn't matter whether you're managing a tire store or you're managing an office or you're managing a football team, you come in, you inherit what's there. You do. So you have to filter through, okay, which employees are good employees that I can keep that are going to help me reach my lofty goals that I've set for this organization, and which have to go. Well, in the case of the Raiders on defense, clearly everybody had to go, right? Which, if you look at the performance before that, even under Jack Del Rio, the defense was not great, which is crazy because it was Jack Del Rio, who's a great guy.
All defensive coaches. Right. Exactly. Then on the offense, same thing. He came in, he inherited what he had. He didn't have a lot of stuff there. They had to build that offensive line again. They had some good pieces there, which was great for him to start with. They go out and they get Colton Miller. Everybody said, oh, Colton Miller's terrible. He can't do it. He's progressed nicely. There's still some people who don't believe in Colton Miller, Q. I think he's going to be fine. They have to stay healthy, though. That's what that offensive line has to do. Yeah, no doubt. That offensive line could be dominant if they're all there and if they're all healthy. And look, the interior, I feel really good. If something happens and somebody goes down, I feel like the depth on the interior is great. But the tackles are what I'm concerned about. If Trent Brown goes down, who, oh, by the way, missed his 4th practice that was open to the media today. And I know Gruden's saying that they're not missing practice. They're just not being seen by media. Fine, but that's the 4th practice in a row that the media has not seen Trent Brown. That's a concern as far as I'm concerned. And then Colton Miller, if he goes down, like you said, I mean, there's just not, they don't have the depth there at the tackle position. The guard position, yes, but the tackle, they don't have it.
No doubt. And that's the thing. I think, we see Anthony here. Who's better, Tyrell Williams or Bryan Edwards? I'm just taking questions as they pop in. Hey, Anthony, everybody's excited about Bryan Edwards. I watched him at practice on Friday. Man, the guy is built. He's quick, and impressive, right? But he hasn't played it down yet. So to ask who's better, I'm going to go with Tyrell Williams. He's proven. Now, we're not going to have preseason games to see if maybe Bryan Edwards is everything we think he is. So we'll have to wait to the regular season. But it just but it looks promising. It looks like Bryan Edwards might be that guy that's next in line to take that spot, Q. But again, we don't know. We don't get to see these guys play.
And that's unfortunate about this offseason is that there is no preseason. There was no rookie minicamp. There were no OTAs. You just don't know. Now, it sounds all good. All the reports that we hear, like you mentioned, you saw him, everything sounds good, but he hasn't even put a pad on yet. I mean, think about that. There hasn't been one pad. It'll be on tomorrow. They'll have pads on tomorrow, which is great. The first of 14 padded practices. But until he gets that press man coverage, until someone's trying to beat him up for the first 5 yards, you really don't know what he's going to be. Now, I will say, I thought he was going to take a back roll and Tyrell Williams was going to basically run things in 2020. I will say it sounds like Tyrell Williams is going to be in a dogfight for that position. So he's going to have to go out there and earn it. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, in fact, you look at Jon Gruden from the day he came back, he has made camp competitive every time. He'll bring in a guy, doesn't matter, and make sure that there's somebody that's next man up if that guy's not ready. So the same thing goes for them. So anything can happen. But let me go back. Raider Loke was talking about Hurst here. I like Hurst. I think, Mo Moten on our website, silverandblacktoday.com, wrote a great piece about why Rod Marinelli might be that missing ingredient that helps Hurst make that next step up, which, again, in this year he needs to do, and I think he will do. And here's Mark from Bangkok saying Trent will be on the field in pads. What's the point of it when they're out there in the shorts? Well, they get in pads tomorrow, so we'll see. Josh Jacobs was out there today in the helmets and shorts. So that was his first appearance, running around, making some plays. But we'll see. But now it comes down to time. If he's not out there tomorrow, we'll see. Damage Incorporated Scotland. All right. Congrats on the new show. Brilliant to listen to. Daily Raiders content. Been a long time Q Pod listener. Yeah. So looking forward to the season starting. Thank you. I appreciate that. All the way from Scotland. You got to love that. Wendy's here with us. Hey, Wendy.
What's up, Wendy? Just win, Wendy.
Yes, DeVell again. Hey, DeVell, thanks for being with us again. I know you were with us last week. Past 2 roster years, upgraded tremendously. Absolutely. There's no question. And that's the thing. Look, everybody freaked out. I mean, and we all didn't know what to think with the Khalil Mack trade when that happened. But now you see they have a plan. And that's the one thing I said. And you can go back and listen in our show archives when we were on the other station, where at the time I said, yeah, I don't like it, but they have to have a plan. If they don't have a plan, we'll find out in a few years when it all falls apart. But instead, it turns out, Q, they had a plan, and now we see it coming to fruition. They're not there all the way there yet. Don't get me wrong, but they're on their journey.
September 1st, 2018 was a bad day for me, man. September 1st, 2018 was a real rough day for me. I was very angry. I felt like Jon Gruden treated Khalil Mack and treated the Raiders like Pete Carroll treated Marshawn Lynch and didn't give him the ball at the 1 yard line. I felt like he refused to give the ball to Khalil Mack, and basically give the keys to the organization to Khalil Mack, which I thought he should. But with that being said, a couple seasons later, and with what they've been able to do with the roster, you've been able to see the additions, the real good, talented players, the Josh Jacobs, the Jonathan Abram, Khalif Farrell, all the guys that they were able to pick up now by way of the draft and by way what they were able to do by flipping them. It all makes a lot of sense. And look, it's so funny because when Jon Gruden did that, it looked like it was like, oh my God, who does that? After that, how many organizations did something similar to that? How many big time players with big time names were flipped after Jon Gruden flipped Khalil Mack?
That's a great point, Q.
It's been a lot.
That's a great point. I haven't even thought about that, but you're absolutely right. There's great examples of it. And everybody was laughing at Jon Gruden. You remember the morning shows the next day? It was like, see, he was in TV too long. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's going to, this franchise is not going to go anywhere. And certainly they're on their way. Not done again. But Corey, evaluation of Mike Mayock. In a word, I think he's been great. I mean, look, don't forget though. And in this case, I really at my core believe this, Q. This is the yin and yang. This is two men working together. It's not one guy or the other. It's not Gruden. It's not Mayock by themselves. It's them balancing each other. I think in anything. I mean, hell, even with our show here, man, we have good balance, you and I, right? Our styles are different. We have different takes on stuff, but we mix well together. And I think that's what makes it successful. And that's what's making Mayock and Gruden successful with the moves that they've made. Not all of them will be great, by the way. They're going to have misses too. Everybody does, but I like the relationship they developed. So I would give them both a really good grade. I mean, I'm not going to give them an A, B, C, D thing. Forget it. But I do think that they are on the right path. Their plan looks like it's working. Now they have to translate that to wins on the field.
I would give them 2 thumbs up. I would just say that they've done what they need to do. They've supported each other in a very good way. John Gruden didn't respect Reggie McKenzie. Reggie McKenzie's work ethic was not the same as John Gruden's. And the good thing about this is Mayock and Gruden, they have the same work ethic. They both are grinding all day long. They're both in the lab all day long. They're both trying to get it done and get over the hump. With Reggie McKenzie, he wouldn't have rolled out of bed till about now. And that's not a disrespect to Reggie McKenzie. It's just the truth. He just wasn't, he just didn't have the same energy. And when one guy has a lot of extreme energy and then one guy is just kind of ho-hum and lazy, not lazy, just not as energetic as you, it shows out in a major way. And so Gruden and McKenzie were never going to get along, but McKenzie and Mayock and Gruden, though, are good. They're good to go.
That's a great point, Q. It's like you said, not lazy. It's not that you can't do a good job that way. It's just different styles.
It's different styles.
You have different leadership styles, different work ethic styles. And you have to kind of find those that mesh together. And clearly these guys have found it thus far. Michael, how do I get you guys really liking your show? Thank you, first of all, for that. We appreciate it. Q and I work hard to get this going. You can catch us 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific time on Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m., which is in Las Vegas, streaming lvsportsnetwork.com. Actually, you know what I will do? I will roll this on the bottom for you. And also you can get us on the TuneIn app. You can also get us on the Raiders website, the Raiders.com website. Look under podcast. They stream our show there as well as on the Raiders app on your phone. So we appreciate that. Really do. You guys we have great listeners and folks that are always with us here. Let's check them out here. We got that Raiders fan. Good to see you again, man. Tim Brown, Lester Hayes are my favorite Raiders of all time. How about yours? You're trying to generate some content there. What about you, Q? Who is your favorite Raider player of all time?
Man, you know what? It's so funny. That's such a difficult question because there's so many great Raiders in the history of the team. One for me definitely would be Charles Woodson. I mean, no doubt about it. Charles Woodson would be one of my guys. I would say Bo Jackson, but he wasn't there long enough. I would say Marcus Allen, but then he scored his 100th touchdown against the Raiders. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many different. Tim Brown is the constant. He was great. Man, I don't even know. I liked Eric Allen a lot, to be honest. I was a big Eric Allen fan when he was a member of the Silver and Black. There's just so many guys that you could pick. Napoleon Kaufman was one of my favorite running backs for the Raiders back in the day. I like Tyrone Wheatley, Charlie Garner. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's ridiculous. I don't know. If I had to pick one, I would say Charles Woodson. If I had to pick 2, I would probably go Charles Woodson and it's got to be somebody nasty, right? Somebody real nasty. You know what? I'll say Darrell Russell, man. Rest in peace, Darrell Russell. But I was a big Darrell Russell fan back in the day. Used to hang out with him on Friday nights sometime, and he was a real deal dude, man. I wish he had worked out a little bit better for the Raiders.
Look at Manny. Manny says Sebastian Seabass was his number 1 player.
That's Woodson a
lot. Yeah, so it's a good one. It's a different one. I like it. Bringing back good names. John Ritchie. That's a good one. He was a plower.
He was always bleeding. His forehead was always bleeding.
He was. Jeff also mentioned James Jett, a guy we'd really like to get on the show very, very soon, especially with Henry Ruggs and that speed. I'd love to hear from him. Russell,
he used to frustrate me, man. James Jett used to frustrate the mess out of me. I mean, he would be great for a catch, and then he'd be bad for a drop. But he would get you. He would don't sleep on him because he'd get behind you real quick, fast, and in a hurry and get in the end zone. But man, he was so frustrating, but he had the opportunity to be so good.
Well, I didn't grow up a Raiders fan. So for me, guys, I don't have that kind of depth that you have when you think about these players. I look back at players that I totally respected and love. I mean, yes, Lester Hayes, Jim Plunkett from a quarterback perspective, Marcus Allen, a San Diego guy, grew up in San Diego. So always liked Marcus Allen, always rooted for him. But I like the nasty guys, man. I like Villapiana, who we've gotten to know on the show, just because you look at those guys and how crazy they were and how they played the game. Lyle Alzado, John Matuzak, those guys who were, they might not have been Hall of Famers and such, although Alzado, you could argue, sans the steroids, he'd probably already be in. But some of those guys were just fantastic. One of the guys I always had respect for growing up and watching was Todd Christensen, too. at tight end, right? Tight end gets far, but man, that guy was a baller. He just came out, played when he needed to. And that's the thing with the Raiders.
That's the point. There's so many of them, though. It's not like they've only had a couple. Like I see a bunch of people tell me Howie Long, and Howie Long was awesome. He was amazing. But I mean, there's just so many of them that I can't just narrow it down to two. Now, Charles Woodson, again, I picked Charles Woodson to be a Raider before the Raiders ever picked him. Like while he was still at Michigan. No, seriously, because that was the end of Terry McDaniel and Anthony. Who was the other defensive back across from Terry McDaniel? Anyway, you knew that they were getting old in the tooth and that they were getting slow, and so the Raiders needed a defensive back so bad. And I remember I was at a Hoop It Up competition when the draft was going on, and I stopped. I literally stopped. I was like, I cannot play right now because the Raiders are about to pick, and they better pick Charles Woodson. And then they did, and then I went back to playing. So there you go.
No kidding. Raider Nation Full Moon Records. Why isn't Flores in the Hall of Fame?
Because
stupidity.
The Hall of Fame hates the Raiders.
Yeah.
No, you know what? In all reality, I asked that question to John McClain, who's a Hall of Fame voter from the Houston Chronicle, has been covering the NFL for 45 plus years, and he tells me straight up that he votes for Flores to get in, but he said, Q, straight up, the reason why most voters don't put him in is because of his time in Seattle. It all boils down to what he did in Seattle, which is unfortunate because a lot of really good coaches or really good players ended their careers somewhere else, and it wasn't that great. But that's the reason why he tells me that Flores doesn't get the votes he should.
Yeah, and John himself will be a Hall of Famer as a writer.
Yes, he's a Hall of Famer now. Yep.
Yeah. But I don't like that reasoning either, though, because
I don't either.
Two things. One is look at the man's accomplishments, no doubt. But then there are some things, Q, that transcend win-loss, okay, or success with another organization. That is the barriers he broke. Right. Being a Latino player, coach to win a Super Bowl, all that stuff, that has to be factored in too. And I think that, okay, look, if you want to weigh the man's career and say, okay, Seattle kind of was a disaster, if you want to call it that. It just didn't go well. But look what he did with the Raiders and look what he did and what he meant to football. And that should outweigh it in my view. So I'm hoping this year again. I think too, the Al Davis connection for those writers, that are older, that remember Al Davis, who might not have liked Al Davis, it might be subconscious. It might not be, well, I'm not going to vote for Flores because I hated Al Davis. No, it might just be inside that brain somewhere and they find other reasoning for it.
That's it. I mean, bottom line, and it's not a good reason. I don't like it at all. It's not a good reason. Cliff Branch should be in. There's so many. I mean, we could talk for an hour on the Hall of Fame and who should be in. Cliff Branch is ashamed that he's not in. Tom Flores is ashamed that he's not in. He doesn't get the props at all for everything that he broke down, like you just mentioned. But yet a guy like Tony Dungy, and I get a lot of hate when I kind of talk bad about Tony Dungy because I like him a lot. I think he was a really nice guy, but I never thought he was a Hall of Famer as far as what he was able to accomplish on the field and as a coach. But everyone will say, oh, Tony Dungy is the greatest thing ever. I think Tom Flores was just as good as Tony Dungy, if not better.
I agree with that 100%. Jeffrey says, gotta love what Mark Davis has done. Been proud with Henry Ruggs. Yeah, I think Mark Davis is starting to get some respect and some kudos for what he's done as the owner to get the team here to Las Vegas, all that they've done. Now, I was at the practice facility on Friday. Of course, we can't see it all because of COVID and everything closed up. But holy wow, it's just amazing what they have going on there, and that's because of his work. Fabian, no love for Hispanic player, assistant coach, head coach, 4 rings. Absolutely, I don't. That's what I mean by what I mean by transcending off the field, right? He was a groundbreaker there for Latino players, and the fact that he didn't get in there is unfortunate, and hopefully it changes.
Straight out of
Sanger, California.
Let's go. Step up the valley. Step up, Sanger. I ain't mad at you.
I love Quinn with this one. It should be about the heights of one's accomplishments, not the depths of their failures. Absolutely. Well said.
Agreed.
That's absolutely true. By the way, we had a couple people asking about your podcast. It is the Locked On Raiders podcast. Q's been doing it a while now. Absolutely go make sure that you subscribe to that so you can listen to Q in the morning with the podcast, right?
Yep.
And then you get a little break from Q, but then you come back with Q and I at 2:00 Pacific time. So you get 2 Qs per day. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Hey, let me just brag real quick. And it's not on me. I'm just bragging on Raider Nation because Raider Nation is amazing. It is August 16th. And this year in 2020 has been crazy. Dealing with the pandemic and sports has basically been gone. I'm over 1 million downloads for the year already.
Woo!
And it's only August 16th.
It's only August.
And we're dealing with a pandemic.
Shutdown.
Yes. So salute to Raider Nation for making that possible and believing in me and riding with me. That's awesome, man. I couldn't believe it. It blows my mind. And it's not because of me. It's because of Raider Nation, how passionate the fan base is. So salute to everyone in Raider Nation who's been rocking with me for years or just a couple days. Yeah.
That's right.
Appreciate that. I really do appreciate it. That's amazing to me.
It is amazing. And of course, the Locked On Network, man, is awesome. So make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Raiders podcast with Q. Listen to him in the morning and then listen to us 2 to 4 on Raider Nation Radio. If you can't listen to us too, you can subscribe. Same podcast feed, different show clearly, but you can go anywhere you get your podcast and subscribe there. DeVell says, how was the vibe at the facility? The vibe of the facility, again, they're keeping us all separate. We were in the indoor facility when they were doing stretching, so that's as close as we could get to players, and then out in the sideline outside as well in the heat. But it is top-notch, all business, man. I mean, Gruden was out there yelling at the guys on the field, using a lot of Las Vegas jokes like, hey, you're not on the strip, man.
Nice.
That kind of stuff.
Nice.
That stuff was great. So I'll tell you, I've not been to Raiders camp before because we were covering them from a distance. We were waiting for them to get here. So the radio station back then, they didn't budget me to go to camp, right? So we did it from a distance, but I can tell you that everyone, a lot of the veteran beat reporters, Vic Tafer, Vinny Bonsignor, who also hosts a show on Raider Nation Radio right after ours, they've all said that they feel that difference. They kind of feel that just they're locked in and they're moving and they're grooving. So that's what we're looking at. Deval, I appreciate the question, man. Jeffrey, Spotify, I think you're asking somebody, but yes, Raider Look, that's me Monday through Friday, locked on, in the morning, and Silver and Black today with Scott and Q in the evening. Thank you, Raider Loke, man, who's a caller to the show. We appreciate you calling in by the way as well.
My guy.
How's the great Nate Peterman doing?
Don't get me started on him, man. Don't get me started on him.
He's taking snaps.
I don't believe anything that Gruden has to say about Peterman when he hypes him up about him being the guy and so excited about what he could bring to the table. And look, there's fans out there that believe he could be, the next dude. He can end up taking the place of Derek Carr. I don't see it. When I think Nate Peterman, I think 5 interceptions in one half of a football game. That's what against the Chargers, who have a really good defense, but threw 5 interceptions in half of a game. That's all I think of. So until he does something that is actually like real, I'm good. I don't even talk about Peterman.
It's so funny. The most so many times the most loved player is the backup quarterback who has not proven anything, just because, he looks good in practice. Well, yeah, that doesn't necessarily translate. By the way, Q, I want to give a shout out, of course, to our good friends at Dr. Jen's Ultimate Nutrition Bars, protein bars. Listen, great nutrition, entire family. My kids, we had salad for dinner tonight, and they had one of these for dessert. That's how good that. I have an 8-year-old kid asking me for this bar.
Really?
Jen's, oh my gosh, yeah.
I don't let my kids eat them. I tell them they're off limits. They're only for me.
Yeah, the banana boxes. Yeah, I'm starting to run low already. I'm like, stay away from the bananas.
Right.
But the great snack, meal replacement as well, certified gluten-free, contains all natural ingredients. Don't forget that. Does not contain artificial sweeteners, sugar, alcohols, all that bad stuff. Superfood in it. This stuff has spinach and kale in it, and it tastes better than a candy bar. I have no idea how the Maronis, Dr. Jen and Dr. Andrew, who are probably watching right now, I don't know how they do it. That's their secret. You got to buy them, but it's awesome. High in antioxidants, great fiber, everything. Q, I saw you tweeted a little earlier today about that, and they fuel us, man, here at the show.
They really do, man, and I like them a lot. And that mocha chocolate crisp that you're showing on the screen, or you were showing, that is my favorite, hands down favorite. But the blueberry vanilla cream is really good. There it is right there. Yep, cream vanilla. What's it called? Cream blueberry
Creamy
vanilla.
Blueberry vanilla.
I just know it's purple, and I just go for that one. I like that one a lot. The peanut butter chocolate chip, that one tastes like a Reese's cup, a little peanut butter cup. Those are awesome. They're good, man. They're really, really good. So I'm definitely gonna put that into my diet every single day. Take them to the radio station, and they fuel me through the day, man. Every day, I love it. It's great.
Well, that's the thing too. You keep your energy without that sugar crash, which is a big deal. Again, I mentioned prebiotics for your good, keep your gut healthy, all that kind of stuff. It's really, really good. Make sure if you order them, use the code SBT10, SBT10, and you will get a discount. Plus, you get free shipping. Make sure you go to Las Vegas company. Not only that, but Dr. Jen, Dr. Andy, they are Raider Nation season ticket holders. They're Golden Knights season ticket holders here in Las Vegas. The carb count, good idea. The carb is low. It's like 6 grams, I think it was. So I watched that too, Phil. You're asking that, and we'll see if they're on here. I don't have the bar in front of me, but we will let you know. Yeah, and Quinn says, if the docs are listening, Quinn says Dr. Jen needs to have a limited edition Raiders wrapper. Not a bad idea. Except you got to pay for licensing. Remember that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
But they could do a silver and black bar or something like that. We'll talk to Dr. Jen. Maybe
I think they should give us a bar in our own name.
You know what I think they should? Yeah, they should do a Q and Scott bar, and half of it's chocolate, the other half's vanilla.
Oh, that'd be cool. That would be actually pretty cool.
It would be cool.
I think that's something to work on.
Yeah, we'll talk to them. I bet you they can.
There
make
you go.
It, of course. It'd be
Let's
fun.
do it.
Oh, 22 grams. Fabian, I think Fabian, you ordered some bars, didn't you, brother? I think you did. There's Dr. Jen's Ultimate Protein Bar. There's Dr. Jen. Thank you for watching, Dr. Jen. Appreciate your stuff. It's so good. And Q and I are waiting for the half chocolate, half vanilla bar.
There you go. That's all you got to do. Everything else is good to go.
That's right. The silver and black today bar. We'll do it. Mint chocolate brownie. Fabian's chiming in. Dude, yes. They're awesome.
That's a good one too. Yep.
It's really, really good. So, so tomorrow's show, I mentioned.
Hey, did you give him the promo code? You gave him the promo code, right?
Yeah. Promo code is SBT10.
Okay.
SBT10. Plus you get free shipping. Make sure you head over there and order that. Q and Scott royalties equal free bars.
Hey, Mark, why are you trying to blow up the spot, man? Why are you trying to blow up the spot? You know?
What do you mean?
If it ain't free, it ain't me. They know my motto.
And there's Dr. Jen thanking Fabian for his comments. She knows her stuff is good, but it's always good to hear from others who've purchased it and do it again. And Phil, I know I gave out that discount code, but I'll do it again. SBT10, SBT Silver Black today, 10, and you get free shipping too. So check it out. Let me tell you, you look at the price, man. The price is, you go look at protein bars at the store, you go to GNC, any of these kind of places. Let me tell you, for this price, what they're offering with this bar, Dr. Jen's bar, amazing. So make sure you check it out. Promo code and free shipping. You got it. All right, back to the football. And again, thanks to Dr. Jen's. Back to the football. So tomorrow on the show, Q, we hope to have a preview of the Dolphins, which we'll get to as well. But Corey Sully, Daily Spiral, great YouTube channel. He also has a website. And we're going to talk about Derek Carr because I really believe, and this is said with all due respect and love to all of you out there watching and Raider fans in general, and this includes me too, just as somebody who covers the sport. I don't think everybody understands how Gruden's offense works and how a quarterback works within it. They see Rich Gannon and some of those long passes he fired away in that MVP season, but they don't understand that that's based on a different principle of how you move the ball around. And that opens up because you're doing other things underneath. So we're going to get a little bit of explanation of that, Q. I think you and I will get a little bit of an education, and the listeners will too.
You know, I think the biggest thing about what Rich Gannon was able to do in John Gruden's offense, and this is just because Rich Gannon has this little something I like to call a little something in his neck. He would hang in the pocket a little bit longer. You know what I mean? He'd have that, hey, I'm going to give my guy a couple more seconds or a couple more steps to be able to break open and get free. Where Derek Carr is at this time, he's just kind of okay with, well, I'll check it down because my first read isn't there, instead of allowing the play to develop a little bit more. If he just takes an extra second, and I know he's cautious about wanting to get the ball out of his hands. If he takes an extra second, which allows his wide receiver to take an extra step or two, that gives him an opportunity to push the ball down the field a little bit more. And I'm not talking 40, 50-yard bombs. I'm just talking intermediate. 15, 18, 20-yard passes. He can do that. He has pinpoint accuracy. He absolutely can make it happen. He's just got to hang in there a little bit longer. And so we'll see. I think that that's one of the major steps in the maturation in his offense, in his understanding of John Gruden's offense, if he's able to do that in 2020.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we're going to have a really good conversation with him, because that's the one thing I want to do is, whether you like Carr or you don't like Carr, you need to know the facts and base your opinions based on. I think a lot of fans base their opinion on a lot of things they might not know about. So when you look at Derek Carr in the context of what he's being asked to do, what his strengths are, he has many, many strengths, including the long ball, including the arc we talked about. And you guys said you don't like the floating. Guess what? That actually is preferred. So he's being coached to do that. He's been taught to do that. And receivers like it. It helps them catch the ball better. So we'll talk about that. DeVell, again, being as the Raiders are approximately 30 miles, it's actually more than 30. What are the odds we get some UFO action at practice? Hey, cool. Hopefully Henry Ruggs and Brian Edwards are aliens, man. You know what I mean? Like freaks of nature just going all crazy all over the field. I'll take that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be cool to see, maybe like a little something that looks like a flying saucer or something fly over the Henderson facility or something. I mean, that would be cool in a weird kind of way.
Jeffrey, Rich Gannon completion was great during MVP season with a lot of short passes. Yes. But people forget that. See, that's the thing. I'm proud of you guys. Shawshank, man, haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see you're back. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. Wendy loves Area 51. You went out there a year ago. Yes, I love the drive out there. I took my kids out there last summer.
Wow.
Because it's basically, there's nothing out there except this little cafe, and there might be a bordello out there a little bit too. But we obviously didn't take the kids there. So we're out there and we go there to eat. You kind of take a picture next to the sign, you drive in the middle of nowhere, and then you drive back. It's a great day trip, actually. And it's so deserted that in the middle of the road queue, we were driving out there. And I just stopped and like I laid in the middle of the road taking pictures down the road just to get some perspective of that desert road that kind of went over this hill. That's how empty it is. You can stop in the middle of the highway, get out on your back, and take a picture down the side. So
yeah, see, I wouldn't do that, man. I'm too scared of being like out there by myself and thinking something bad is going to happen to me. You know, the black guy in the scary movie always dies first, right? I mean, he does. Look, let's just be honest about the situation. The black dude's always going to be destined to die first in a scary movie, so I don't want to be that guy. So I just stay out of harm's way.
Oh, that's good, man. Raider Brian, when will hats be available? Soon, man. We got the logos changed. Obviously, we changed our branding when we moved over to the new station, which we've gotten great feedback. So thank you for that. But we will have some hats available, including with the Raider Nation Radio logo. I have to send one to Q first, although I don't think I've ever seen you in a hat, Q.
I don't wear hats. It's hilarious. I used to wear hats all the time when I was young, and I got a bunch of hats in my closet right now, but I never wear a hat. If you see me in a hat, it's like a really, really bad day or something, you know, maybe, I don't know. There's a reason why I'm wearing a hat, but you'll never find me in a hat. I always just don't have a hat on.
Yeah. So I wear hats, but so now I'm not going to send Q a hat. I'll send you a Q hat.
No, you can send me one because the wife loves to wear the hats that I get.
Oh, she likes them. She
has my ESPN hats. I mean, everything. She'll rock them, man. Yep. That's good.
Yep. And then we're going to have other merchandise too. So we'll have shirts, we'll have some hats and all that kind of stuff. Q and I have been focused like 150% on making great radio. Right.
Yep.
So some of the branding stuff, it'll come, I promise you. But this all came together so quickly. The opportunity was so great to be associated with this great station and all the folks there that that stuff has kind of been put on the back burner for a little while. Here's Derek. The system is designed for efficiency. If Gruden thought DC wasn't the guy, he'd been gone by now. Absolutely, Derek.
It's a good point.
Some people just don't want to accept that though, Q.
No, I mean, and then again, you know, it's like, who would he have put in that place as well? You know what I mean? Like, there's some that say, okay, well, then you have to spend a high draft pick on a quarterback. There hasn't been a guy that they feel real comfortable with. I do believe, and I know a lot of Raider Nation got tired of me talking about it, but I do believe if Jalen Hurts had been there available when the Raiders picked in round 3, I think that they would have picked him. I know that Vic Tafur had reported. I know Vinny had reported that they were very high on Jalen in the draft. They didn't go get him. I don't think he's a guy that's ready to start anyway. I told many people that I thought that the Raiders would draft him and then try to develop and see what they got from him. But they didn't. They got Marcus Mariota. Derek Carr has done some really good things, and he just needs to improve. I mean, that's bottom line. He's just got to improve and continue to get better.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a contentious thing. That's the part I've always talked about, which is I don't understand why people are so negative. I know you want to win. I know you want your
Right.
quarterback to lead you, and I know some of the things that Derek Carr has done have been frustrating. But we're gonna look at all of that tomorrow when we talk to Corey, because Corey breaks it down, and we'll link that video up for you guys to watch too. But to have him on to kind of talk about it, I think he's detached from it. He's not a Raider fan. He's a Bay Area football coach, but he's not a Raider fan. He's kind of detached from it. He's looking at it purely as a coach who coaches offensive football. And so when you hear this, I think all of you will appreciate it and understand that some of it's not Derek Carr, some of it's the system, some of it is Derek Carr, or underthrowing the ball or throwing behind his receivers, which he tends to do a little bit. Absolutely, something he's got to work on, and he has to.
He's just gotten he seems to have been a little gun shy ever since he broke his ankle. He doesn't seem like the same guy that's willing to, like I said, stand in there and allow the play to develop a little bit further. He's not a guy who's going to take off and run with his legs. Again, I always go back to that first game in 2016 against the Saints when he did a somersault over the defender and everything and picked up the first down, and everybody cheered because it was an awesome play. But then at the same time, everyone was like, "Hey, man, hey, you're the starting quarterback. You got to be a lot more careful than that." So you got to pick and choose, your battles. I like Derek Carr. I rock with Derek Carr, but at the same time, I know that there's areas that he needs to improve in. So he's sustained, and he's settled down that quarterback rotating door that the Raiders had for many years until they drafted him. But now, I mean, in going into year 7, it's about time you take another step and really become that dude.
Absolutely. And Jason Rader says Derek is figuring out his identity. That's a good way to put it, Jason. I think it's a confidence thing. And from what I've seen, again, I've only been to one practice, but I talk obviously to other folks, including Vinny, who are at practice every day. And Carr, just like I saw him when I saw him at the park doing the informal stuff, there's just a sense about him, a confidence level that I think is there that wasn't there before. And maybe it's the fresh start in Vegas. Maybe it's all the tools, and he just feels like, okay, now it's on me. I got to take this team on my shoulders and go because I have everything I need now. Whatever it is palpable. I feel it. And I think everybody who's around that team, when you watch him throw, when I watch him throw at practice, man, he is there. He's zipping the ball. And again, that's in no pads. So I get it. But, you can get a sense for somebody's personality, somebody's mood, somebody's vibe. And it is definitely different for me, at least this year, than it was last year.
And Mark just chimed in and said, it's not year 7, it's year 3. I get it. It's year 3 with John Gruden, but it's year 7 in the league. And that's what you are. I mean, you're based off. We can't continue to. This is the thing I don't like about this conversation that we have with Derek Carr. We can't continue to sit here and say if and but this and that. You know what I mean? It's like you are who you are. You are what your record is. I mean, it's like that for teams. It's like that for players. There's a lot of reasons why the Raiders haven't been successful. They're not all on Derek Carr. There's also reasons why Derek Carr hasn't been successful. Those reasons are on Derek Carr. There's multiple reasons. He's a good quarterback, but he has to get better. And you can't say you're only in year 3 when you've already got your second contract that says that you're not in year 3. And they gave him big time money. So with that big time money, you get more. You have to get more responsibility of what you're doing, and the wins and losses and the microscope is on you a lot more. So it's not year 3. It's year 3 with Gruden. It's year 7 as a pro. He's got to continue to develop as a quarterback and get better. Bottom line, it's not a hate thing. It's just the truth.
No, I agree, Q. Well said. And of course, we're going to talk about it more tomorrow. But yes, there are some things that he owns. There's no question. And I think it's year 3 versus year 7. Absolutely. It's year 7 in the court. You're an NFL quarterback making top dollar, right? So you have to step up. You have to. And there are some things I think that as a guy, it doesn't matter how many years he's been in the system. Some of the downside have been things that are fully within his control, have nothing to do with that situation. And then there are other things, that he needed more tools and so on, but he's got them now. So that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on looking ahead and doing all those things. Raider Loke with the 4th down throwaway. It's amazing how people go back, and thanks, Loke. It's amazing how people go back to certain plays, Q. And of course, last year, the throwaway on 4th down, the 4th down into the ground, that sort of stuff, the back of the end zone on 4th down, all that, it sticks with you, but you cannot take a full year and boil it down to those 2 points. I agree, though. I mean, you can't do that. There's times when this quarterback has done that and you're shaking your head. Okay, that's fine. That can't happen anymore. But again, we're going to find out this year. He's got everything he needs. and he's poised for success. I think he will be, much to the chagrin of some, but for Raider fans who really want to see their team win, that's the best way there.
I think this is a great potential year for him. I really do. I think he has an opportunity to do really good things. His completion percentage is really good. He just a couple areas he needs to improve. And look, the thing about that fourth down play that everyone goes back to, it's just the optics. Because nobody was open. There was nobody open. If you go back and look at the all 22, if you look at it from 35 different angles, there was nobody open. I mean, nobody. But when he throws it into the dirt, it's like you gave up on a play. If he had just thrown it in the direction of any wide receiver, it would have said, well, at least he tried. Nobody would be talking about that 4th and 3 play right now if he had just thrown it towards the receiver. Instead, he just chucked it in the dirt. And it's like, oh, you gave up. That it's the optics that people don't like. And that's what resonates. And that's why people could point out that one play, because I guarantee you he had plays that were worse than that in 2019 that nobody even remembers. But it was that 4th and 3 in the dirt.
That's true.
That, you know what I mean? That really sticks out because that was that play.
Well, watching NFL Game Plan, I went back and watched, because you can watch all the coaching cameras, right? So when we first got into this pandemic, I went and watched all the film on Carr, and the plays that I actually saw and were, what are you doing, man? You're a professional. How could you be? Are the balls that were thrown behind receivers in certain situations, times when he didn't go through his progressions, meaning that pressure comes up the middle, he dumps the ball quickly when he had an open receiver coming down over the middle, for example, even against Denver, right near the end zone. I think it was Terrell Williams right there. I mean, first down, maybe even a touchdown. And instead, because he was jarred too quickly, he threw the ball check down to the running back. Right. So those types of things to me are bigger plays, because those show a level of security and comfort in the pocket. And to be an NFL quarterback, you have to stick in there at times when you might be in a little peril, because that's when things happen downfield and when you have time to create a play downfield.
Right. You're absolutely right. And look, again, I've said it so many times and people get me wrong on here because I don't want to sit here and praise him, and I'm not going to dog the mess out of him either. I'm going to point out his warts and show where he can improve. And unfortunately for not wide receivers, for quarterbacks and for head coaches in the league, you have a win-loss record. Nobody else in the league has a win-loss record. Nobody knows what the starting running back's win-loss record is. Nobody knows what the starting center's win-loss record is, but you know who the starting quarterback and the head coach's win-loss record is. Unfortunately, Steve points out, Q, I guess that letter stands for clueless. Thank you, Steve, for that. His record without talent or support, cost for quality, nobody close. Steve, he's had one winning season in his whole career, and that was 2016, the year everyone goes back to. That's not my fault, and that's not anyone else's. I'm not even saying it's 100% his fault. My point is he's a starting quarterback who gets paid a lot of money, which actually his contract's not even that much anymore based off everybody else getting paid. But he's getting paid a lot of money. He's going to get the spotlight. The majority of the conversation is going to be based around him. I understand what you're saying. I agree with the talent. I agree with a lot of things. The carousel that was the head coach and the offensive coordinator, everything since he's been in the league, he's kind of had a raw deal. I agree. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're judged off of wins and you're judged off of losses. And Derek Carr right now in 2020 does not have enough wins. That's it. Bottom line.
That's it. And then I get a lot of folks talking about Mariota from indications from our friends like Vinny Bonsignore and Vic Tafur did not have a good day today at practice. I think Vinny said it's a practice he'll want to forget. So, slow your roll on Marcus Mariota stealing the job, which he's not going to do. He's not taking first team snaps. So that's an indication. I know it's earlier. But there's Dr. Andy saying Carr's mentioned that he needs consistency. No excuses this season. Absolutely. It's just what Q said. Absolutely, Doc.
And I think Mariota's going to get into the game, but I don't think he's going to get in as a quarterback. I mean, it's like the starting quarterback. I think he's going to be inserted in certain packages. But for the Raiders to be successful in 2020, the best idea is to have number 4 behind center. That is the easiest way for them to be successful this year. Is not by making a quarterback change. It's by having Derek Carr just take the next step. It's really as simple as that. And I say simple, but that's what it all boils down to.
No, you're absolutely right. But we're going to talk all about that tomorrow on the show, 2 to 4 p.m., Raider Nation Radio. You can stream it again, lvsportsnetwork.com. You can also listen on TuneIn, the app, which you can listen to it there live. You can also, our show is up on TuneIn for after if you listen to podcasts on TuneIn. You can also find the show once we're off the air. Usually by about 6:30 p.m., it's up on Apple, Google, Spotify, Deezer, you name it, wherever you get your podcast, you'll be able to find that as well as we go along the day. So make sure you do that. But we also take calls. Listen, we want folks to call. We got folks calling in. We had somebody from what it was, Afghanistan, right?
Yeah. Salute to them again, man. That's awesome, man. We've had calls from all over the place. That's just again a great credit to Raider Nation. It's worldwide. It's not just in one little pocket of the country. It is worldwide. So shout out to everyone who chimes in and calls in. And like I said, man, if you're in Afghanistan, if you're overseas, and you're paying the ultimate sacrifice for us, salute to you and thank you.
Q, Juan really wants you to say his name.
Juan, what's up, brother? Shout out to my man Juan. Juan.
I love that. But yeah, call us tomorrow or any day of the week, 702-365-9200. Do me a favor. Just go grab your phone, right? Grab your phone and just pop it in there, and you have it under Raider Nation Radio, Q and Scott, and just hit it. And then you call us. You call in, listen to what we're up to, and you can find out. Look at that. You got it. Look at that. Look at that. You got better handwriting than I do, man. Thank you.
Only with a Sharpie. I'm terrible. I'm terrible when it comes to just a regular pen.
Like awful. A ballpoint pen?
Yeah, awful. I can't even read my own handwriting. It's like I got worse the older I got.
Wipe our May Spitfire. May, are you a germaphobe a little bit there? I got
you know what, though? I did hear that you should wipe off your phone a lot. And I don't even think about that with this, everything going on. Luckily, a lot of people don't be messing with my phone. But if you get a couple cats that are messing with your phone or something like that, it could be all bad. So that's actually a really good a good tip right there.
Yeah, we and Wendy, we do have a text line. We've had some issues in the studio with it during our show, being able to access it so we can read your texts. But pardon me, but it is coming. So we'll get it. We'll get that rolling for you as well. For those of you too shy to call in and let us hear your voice, you never know. You could be a radio star. Get on the radio.
Yes.
That's how JT the Brick.
That's how JT got started. Absolutely.
That's how he got started. He was a caller to Jim Rome's show. He won the contest to Smack Off, and here he is, 22 years later, having worked for the Raiders, covering the Raiders. He's a legend in the business. So there you go. That's why you should call in. But we'll use it as well. Now we got a whole conversation about phone soap and UV cleaners.
That's awesome. Hey, look, man, Raider Nation is so knowledgeall that they can tell you about everything. I like that, man. I'm all good.
They can. And May, I agree with you. I was just giving you some crap there. It's all good, but thank you for watching and listening. Well, Q, we're going to cut out, man. It's time to go for this Sunday night. But listen, this week's going to be fun talking about offense. And I know, again, expectations are high. That defense is going to help this offense a lot if they can get up into that mid-range of the AFC, 15 to 18 range. But it's going to be fun to talk about all of these pieces and they work together, because I think there's some role players there too that aren't getting a lot of talk that are going to be very important in certain roles and certain packages.
I agree. And the thing about it is, man, the defense has got to be better, but what they've really got to be better at is creating turnovers, man. I'm really going to hang my hat on turnovers, how they can set the Raiders up offensively into short field position. You know what I mean? Just, you've got to be able to create some turnovers. And everyone always wants to go back to 2016 and say how Derek Carr was a, MVP candidate, which he was. He did a lot of great things in 2016. But one of the things that he benefited from was the fact that defense was able to create turnovers. They weren't a very good defense, but they created a lot of turnovers and put him in decent position where he was able to come back and be a hero. This dude coming back in the fourth quarter is no joke. He does that. He makes that happen. He's got a clutch gene in him. He really does, which is amazing. He does it in a major way, but you just got to give him a couple more cracks at it, and he'll make things happen. So there's a lot of excitement, man, around the silver and black, and I think that this team has an opportunity to be really special. But we could talk about it, what they do in practice. We could talk about what they do on paper. It's all about what they do in games. I know people don't like judging folks just off of wins and losses, but ultimately either you win,
that's the game,
or you lose, and it's really, really that simple.
It really is, Q. And I'll tell you, it's going to be fun to talk about all this. And I really do think that you're right about the defense. In fact, Jeff Heath, who we'll hear from tomorrow as well, mentioned that. They said, hey, what was the best defense you played on in Dallas and why? And he said, you know what? It wasn't because we had a bunch of all pros and all that. It was because we created turnovers, and we had that differential, which helped our offensive team go down and score, and we made the playoffs. So again, that's how the defense is going to help. And I'd like that to hear that from Heath, because that tells me that Gunther and his guys are focused on takeaways.
Right, exactly right. And that's what they have to do, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to be able to create some turnovers. You've got to give your offense a good, reasonable field position. You can't always expect them to go the whole length of the field. They've got to be able to intercept the ball, create a fumble, do something. Just give the offense an opportunity because, again, one of the bigger things is when you create a turnover, I always say the exact next play should be a shot to the end zone. It should be a shot to the end zone. That's kind of one of those momentum moves. You got momentum on your side, take a shot immediately. The Raiders used to do that. Gruden used to call that up, but he hasn't had turnovers lately. I mean, you go back to the last couple seasons, they don't create turnovers. So if they can create turnovers, it is great, man. They can really make some good things happen. Before we get out of here, I want to shout out Gabriel. Shout out to my man Gabriel Barrientos. He's out there in Arkansas representing, holding it down for us. So salute to you, Gabriel. Do your thing.
Yeah, appreciate everybody. And Shawshank, why is there only 30 likes when there's 130 people in the chat? I don't know. Get them to like it. It's all good. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Tell folks to subscribe. Hit notifications all, by the way. That's really important because then when we go live, in case you forgot, in case you're busy, you're watching WNBA, whatever you're watching, it's all there, right? So it'll notify you and you'll be set to go. But we certainly appreciate it, and we appreciate all your comments too. It's fantastic. That's why we do the Sunday nights, right? We do 5 nights a week of radio, but we like the Sunday just to prep you, tell you what's coming up, but also just to do the exchange, to get back with you. It's always a lot of fun because we really do like talking to you guys. So thank you for that. But again, tomorrow's show, we're going to have Corey Sully about Derek Carr. We're going to break him down every which way. But Sunday, you're going to know his great strengths, some of his weaknesses, and more about Gruden's system so you understand that. We're also going to hear from John Gruden. We're going to hear from Max Crosby, Corey Littleton, and Jeff Heath as well, who met with the media. So make sure you join us 2 to 4, Raider Nation Radio. Q, always a pleasure, my friend. I will talk to you tomorrow afternoon.
Absolutely, my man. Appreciate you, Raider Nation. Appreciate you chiming in with us.
All right, guys, for Q Myers, your boy Q Myers, I'm Scott Branson, silverandblacktoday.com. You can find us there, website. Great content up there. Watch for our camp notes every single day. You'll see something from Raiders camp, so make sure you bookmark the site. Visit us there, subscribe to the show via podcast, and check us out during the week. For Q4, all of us at Raider Nation Radio, I'm Scott Branson. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.